Okay, and welcome back to round 4 of the Washington International. Let's get straight into this. I see the games have started, which is quite nice, so we can just get going. So let's see on board 1. Okay, so far nothing, not too much, obviously. We got the two grandmasters playing each other, which should make for an interesting battle. Perlstein, who is playing white here, is the only person in the tournament with full score. So he still has 3 out of 3. You'll see that I've changed a little bit with the names at the top. I have put the board on the top left corner, and then I have put the seed number of the player in front of his name and the amount of points that they have at the back of their name, just so you have a little bit more information. So Perlstein is the only person we have with 3 points, and then there's a whole host of them. I think the next 12 players, I think, has 2.5 points. So obviously it's still early days in the tournament, so I highly doubt that Perlstein will stick it out on his first position there. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let's go see if there has been any moves made on board 2. And we can start cycling through these nice and slowly. Okay, let's pop on board 2 here. So we have an e4, e5, knight f3 game. Most likely, well, who's playing? We have Libashevsky. He's French, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but that is a very Polish surname. So probably a Polish player originally, but he's French and he's playing against Samuel Sevian. Both players have 2.5 points, and they're playing on board 2, as you can see on your screen, of course. I predict a Ruy Lopez here, so let's see what happens. I think Samuel Sevian plays a Ruy Lopez. I'm almost sure about it. Yeah, so that's probably what we'll get on board 2. I hope you guys are feeling alright. I mean, it's quite late here, but it's perfectly fine. I'm not gonna complain about life. Let's move on to board 3. Obviously, doing the commentary on tournament like this is not easy, guys. It's probably not so bad if you have 1 round a day. You know, you spend 5-6 hours, whatever, on a round. But if you have to do 2 of them, like I am currently doing, then of course, you know, you're sitting here for 5-6 hours. You have like an hour break, a little bit more maybe, and then you have to do it again. So so if you guys are watching, of course, if you're new, please do click on the follow button. And if you guys want to donate, I would be very appreciative. The donations is not just for me. I also definitely want to put money into the tournaments themselves as well. Like this tournament specifically, it has its own donation goal on its website, www.mdchess.com. So of course, you know, if I could reach some goals, I'd love to give money to their goal as well. So one hand washes the other, if you know what I mean. So on board, what's this, on board 3, we have who's this? Dmitry Gordisky. He is our he's our 4th seed, but he is an international master with a hefty 2600 rating. Very strong player. He played c4, was met with c6 and knight f3. So we have ourselves a quite possible Slav setup. At this point, of course, we have like an English start with a Caro-Kann type of idea for black. So it depends on what black plays next. Okay, then we might as well. Hello. Of course it does. Of course it does. It was just a little bit of a wordplay on the character lone druid. So yeah, I just thought it would be a little bit funny if I made it a loner. You know, chess people, when you think about them, are very nerdy and loner type of people. You know, not that I am at all. Okay, I'm a very social guy, but yeah, it was just a funny wordplay on the name, of course. Wow, okay. This game has gone a lot faster, so let's pop into board 4. Let me just make sure I get this one right. So on board 4, we have a lot of moves played here. Let me just see if I can figure out what the order was, otherwise this is going to look very weird. Okay, the order was a bit funky. The order was knight f3. Looks like d5 was played, this was played, this was played, this was played, e6 was played, castle was played, bishop e7 was played, c4 was played. Not necessarily in this order, but c4 was played, castle was played, queen c2 was played, c6 was played, d4 was played, knight bd7 was played, knight bd2 was played, and then we had b6 and e4. Is that correct? Yes, there we go. b6 and e4. So this is a fairly common line. I've seen this line a lot of times as well. And you'll see more and more openings nowadays where white plays his knight to b2 without bringing out the bishop and then going for e4 quickly. This has started to happen a lot more. Even Carlsen's playing this. I'm playing systems like this as well, and I like what I get. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoy what I get. I, on the other hand, do not like the c4 move anymore. So I prefer to keep the pawn on c3 instead, and then play for the e4 break. I find that I get a lot of good games in this. Even if it's just from an endgame point of view, I feel like I get a good pawn structure. Plus, I usually tend to get the knight versus a bishop endgame, and I like to outplay my opponents in those. So bishop b7 here was played, of course, seeing that we have a lot of defenders on d5. We have currently all of these guys defending d5, okay, and there's only 2 attackers, so no real stress there. If he takes, we take with the pawn. He takes, we might take back. So let's say if he wants to take on d5, we will probably play with a c pawn. If he takes with the e pawn, then we'll take with a piece, and then we'll give him that isolated d pawn that's already been blockaded as well. So I suspect that that white won't take. White would want to play e5. Wait, let me just check quickly if he did play e5. Yes, he did. Yeah, white would want to play e5. So e5 is played. Interesting. So now black has to make decisions whether he wants to go in here or whether he wants to go in for an aggressive idea like this, which could be playable. Maybe not. Maybe not right now. So he's going to have to go... I guess he could maybe even play here as well. So he does have options with the knight, but the knight's most likely going to pop back down to e6. e8, sorry. Okay. So this was board 4, was it not? Yes. So let's have a quick look at board 5. Let me just get there. Okay, board 5. Let's start on this board. Let's see what opening happened here. We had ourselves a slough that was accepted in the end. So d4. Let's see if I get the right move order here as well. Although it looks fairly straightforward. Knight c3, knight c6, knight f3, bishop f5 looks like was played. Oh no, wait, sorry, it would have been takes, of course. Would have been takes here, bishop f5. I play this for white as well. I like the systems I get usually. e3, e6, and this is the current board position. So here we have 2 other GMs as well. Barbosa, who I think is from Brazil, and he is playing against Chandra Akshat, or Akshat Chandra from America. Chandra is one of the youngsters. I'm sure he's still like 17 or 18 years old, but he's not super strong. I mean, he's obviously a GM, but you can see he's already dropped under the 2,500 marker. So I think life, obviously is getting in the way. He's taking his time to do other things. Let me quickly open up my new color for this round. My blue Red Bull. Yummy. Might as well get started, hey, because it's already almost midnight. So I'm gonna need all the Red Bulls I can get. Red Bull can sponsor me. I'll drink Red Bull all day, all night, the whole time while I stream. Like Hikaru, I saw Hikaru. He was playing, and I didn't see any Red Bulls. That's bad. That's very bad. He should have Red Bulls always, all over. They can sponsor me. I'll friggin' do it like a champ. Okay, so e6 was played. Bishop takes c4 was played. Just want to look at something. Usually bishop b5 gets played now. Bishop b4, sorry, gets played now. And then castle, and queen b3. So that's what the line usually looks like. You play bishop b4, castle for the white side, then castle for black, then queen b3 is usually the line. So let's see what white decides to do. Okay, cool. And this was board 5. Let's go have a spin on board 6 and see how things have gone there. Okay, this first one's going to be a bit of a white flash. Oh, can't see. Blind. Okay, so we have ourselves a London system. Looks like knight f6 first was played. Then knight f3 was played. e6 was played. And bishop f4 is played. And now b6. So we have ourselves a London system from the white side. Also, obviously, a very popular option now. Another funny round here again, because you can see here that the international master is white and he is the higher rated player. So again, we have the international master being ranked higher than the grandmaster. This is seemingly happening quite a lot. Andrei Gorovets, he is from Belarus, if I'm not mistaken. He's been around for quite a while. He's been playing a lot of tournaments lately in the States, so I assume he has moved to the States now. I don't think he's very old. He's probably early 20s, maybe even under 20 still. It's possible. So yeah, and he's playing against Denis Boros, who is from Hungary, if I am not mistaken. I hope I'm right. I think he's from Hungary. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's from Hungary. Let me just quickly... I do have the players list here somewhere. Denis Boros is from Hungary, yes. So we'll see what happens in this game as well. Obviously, it's still early days. Okay, e3 was played, typical. It's the basic setup in the London system. So the bishop's going to come out, probably here. c3 gets played, and you castle. Okay, so that is all fairly standard. So that is board 6. Let's go and introduce you guys to our players on board 7 next on the list. I'm gonna have a flashing white light again. Can't see. I'll just close my eyes and wait for it to go away. There we go. So here we have the top seed. He's trying to stage a comeback after his miserable loss in round 2 last night. Naroditsky losing to... Was it actually Denis Boros? Yeah, I think he lost to Boros, yeah. Boros playing a really nice game in the end. In all fairness, actually, Naroditsky was playing fantastic. I really enjoyed the way he was playing. I was predicting all his moves. He was playing everything I wanted to play. And then he made a mistake. Then he played that bishop e4 move, which I didn't like at all. And it turns out that bishop e4 is just bad. I mean, it just loses. So... that was not what I planned to play. So it's always fun when you can keep up with the players and end up predicting moves that they should not play as well, you know. And then yeah, he lost the game. So let's quickly see what the fudge cake happened in this game here. I'm just gonna back up the game a little just to see. Okay, so we have ourselves a Sicilian. So it was a main line of some sort. I went here. I assume d6 happened. Pawn takes, knight c3, knight f6. Knight f6, sorry. Knight c3. It's not the cam, the boy GG. It's not the cam. I think it's a combination of the computer and the internet. Well, actually, I just think it's a computer. So yeah, so I would love to get a new computer eventually. That will happen, of course, eventually. But yeah, you know, hopefully, as long as the sound is okay. I'm not too worried if the I'm not too worried if the camera is a bit laggy. As long as the sound is okay, then I don't mind. Okay. Because I mean, the most important part is not that you have to see me. The most important part is that you can hear me clearly. Because of course, I'm giving you all the lines and telling you what's happening in the game. So A6 is played. So we have ourselves a Najdorf. And we have a very, very early H4 idea. So this is becoming quite popular for white. E5 is played. Knight goes to B3. Now we have ourselves a weird little setup going here. B5 is played. Naroditsky is white here. Okay, so Bryce Tiglon, the IM. It'll be interesting to see what he does in the end. He played A4, he played B4. Where did the knight go is the question. Okay, the knight goes into D5, of course. Makes logical sense. So we have this like almost like a Sveshnikov system here, where you have these two pawns with this backward D pawn looking quite awkward. I'm not sure if I like Black's position here though. Looks a lot like the game we had with Nepomniachtchi playing against Bashir Legrave in the last round. Of course, here it's slightly different, of course, because you can get rid of the knight on D5. So we'll have to see where this one goes as well. So that's our board 7. We might as well go pop in on board 8 because there's 9 boards in total for us to look at in the tournament. Only 9 boards, unfortunately. So let's go have a look at board 8. So yeah, the first time I obviously open up a board, it's going to do that little white flashy nonsense stuff. Okay, this has also been a very, very weird game so far. I guess not really weird, but... Okay, so we have ourselves a d4, d5 game again. So we have a slough system again. Let's just make all the moves. Something like this happened. There, and takes. So he decides to take on c4. a4 is played. Bishop e4 is played. And e4 is played. Okay, because the knight's pinned, obviously. Queen a5 gets played. Okay, having this threat. So be careful of that knight, of that bishop hanging in some cases. Okay. And of course, threatening here. Bishop d2 gets played. Of course, he also unpins himself. So there's no more pin because the queen moved as well. So bishop d2 gets played and black plays c5. Black looking pretty solidly here already. Okay, I assume he'll take on c4. So yeah, so bishop takes c4, pawn takes d4, knight takes d4, castle. And this is now currently white to move. So white has to be careful of... White has to be careful of rook d... d8. But okay, maybe knight b3 is okay then, I guess. So maybe it's fine. Maybe there's nothing to really worry about here. So white's probably fine. His e-pawn is weak though as well. So his king is still in the center. His e-pawn is being attacked. So he does have a few things that he has to be careful about here. Black seems to have done pretty decently in the opening here. Not bad at all. I'm inclined to like Black's position slightly more here. Of course, White just needs to fix a few of his own problems, that's all. And then it should be okay. TheBoyGG, who are you on chess.com, by the way? I don't think I've seen your name before, so hello and welcome. Welcome to the stream. Okay, let's go pop in on our last board, where we have my hero so far for the tournament. just because he's been playing very, very solidly. I think he's been playing very good chess. Let's get a flashy white light again. Last one. I'm dying. Okay, and this is Panjwani. He's been playing very, very entertaining chess, and he's playing very solidly as well. So far he's got 2 out of 3, and he's got 2 draws against very strong GMs. So we'll see if he can hold himself together here again against another strong GM. So he's getting, this is quite nice for the international master here, because if he gets to play against this close to 2600 couple of guys the whole time, then it really ups his average rating, which helps him a lot to try and get a GM norm. So I'm just going to go back a little bit just to see how this opening developed. Okay. So d4 was played, knight f6 was played, knight f3 was played, e6, c4, d5, knight here, bishop e6, bishop g5. Let's see. Then h6 was played, bishop h4 was played, castles was played, e3 was played, b6 was played. Wait, what? I'm like, wait, what? Bishop e2 was played, bishop here was played, bishop takes, pawn takes. Okay. E takes and castles. Okay, so white decided to go for this pawn structure because now this white squared bishop looks a little bit stupid here for black. So that's why he took on d5 to get him, to force him to have that bishop on that diagonal, which is quite useless right now. It remains to see how, I mean, obviously black is going to play c5. That's going to happen. Maybe not immediately, but knight d7, rook c8 and c5. That's the kind of things that he will be looking at playing. So yeah, this one also, this is the typical kind of ideas. White would love to put his bishop on f3, but the knight is also a good protector of the d4 square. So it's a tricky question of deciding how to go about this. Not sure. We'll have to see. I have to think that both players are, it's fairly equal here. I might even like black slightly more. He does have the bishop pair. White seems like he's going to struggle to play e4. And black is not going to struggle to play c5 at all. So that's board 9. So we have the IM versus the GM here on this board as well. So now we can go all the way back to board 1. I was going to do this white screen the whole time. That's going to be very annoying if it does. Hopefully it doesn't. Usually it doesn't, so... What? Oh, is that why? Maybe? Sorry, I just want to quickly cycle through them all. So just ignore the names. Why did it take away all my moves? Okay, somehow... Uh-oh. Does lead chess also give me problems? Because look at this now. Okay, so all the way up to here. Now, is all of these okay? Yeah, okay. So I should just cycle through them all? Okay. Fine. Fine. So this was the game with Perelstein and them. So let me just have a look at how this happened again. Yeah, so d4 was played. Oh, we only played like 2 or 3 moves here, didn't we? Knight f6 was played. c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4. So we have ourselves an IMZO. And we have a queen c2 variation. Interesting. Castle, castle. I also for a very long time, I preferred the queen c2 variation. He played knight f3, d6 was played, g3 was played, but I didn't play it like this. I played the e4 variations, which nowadays is not that great necessarily. So he played knight c6, he played a3, he played takes, he played queen takes, he played rook e8, and bishop g2 was played now. So obviously in these positions, black plays for e5. White cannot play e4 right now. But I suspect that he'll probably play e5. Black. Okay. I can get to board 2. Luckily on all of these boards that Leach has messed around with a little bit here, most of them were just like 2 or 3 moves into the game. So I kind of understand. So it should be okay. This was our Ruy Lopez game. It was one in the end. I'm not quite sure how did this transpose though. So this, bishop b5. I gotta figure out what he played, because how he got to this game, I'm not quite sure. Bishop b5. Okay, knight f6 was played and knight c3 was played. Okay, so now it changes. Bishop b4, castle, castle. D3, D6 probably, yeah. So we have a symmetrical position right now. D3, D6, knight there, knight here, and C3. So you can see we have now finally the symmetry goes away, because of course you can't play the same as him because your bishop's hanging. So bishop A6, bishop A5, knight G3, and A6. And it's currently white to play. Lubashevsky is the GM. Like I said, I think he's from France, but obviously Lubashevsky is a very Polish surname. So originally, or his family was probably Polish. Samuel Sevian obviously is the American, and he's also the 3rd seed for the tournament. So we'll see how he ends up doing. He's still doing fine. He's got 2.5 points, if I'm not mistaken. I suspect he'll probably go bishop a4 in this position, and of course the bishop will go to c2. Now we do have ourselves a standard idea here, although I guess this is not it's not a typical Ruy Lopez type of a game yet, is it? We'll have to see where this goes. These games are very rich, get a lot of play in them, and both players have to be careful a lot of things here. So obviously white wants to play d4 when he gets the chance, start putting some pressure on this center, obviously. Okay, let's go back to board 3 and see if we can find our way through here. Just want to quickly, yeah, let me have a look so long at how and what happened here. Let's put board 3 board here quickly. That's it. So board 3, we had another Slav defense type of setup. Oh wait, was it c6? Sorry, I should probably just, yeah, it was c6. Here, bishop here, g3. That was all played. e6 is played, knight h4. So yes, this I agree with. I like this knight h4 early idea. He played here and he played f3. Interesting. Played f3 straight away. So he's going to have no problems playing e4. Sorry, playing e4. Let's say you go bishop here, I take it, I play bishop here, and I play e4 next. I don't think there's any real stress about the king side, so you can still castle on the king side for white here. I really don't think that there will be any real issues with that. So still early days. I mean, black is thinking now. I don't really know about what. He literally has to go bishop g6. I mean, this just seems like a waste of time to think here. It really does. It seems like a very, very big waste of time to think. You only have one move. So let's pop on a board 4. This is our last board that we don't have any moves on, I think, yet still. This was our game where we got e4 played fairly quickly, wasn't it? So d4, d5, c4, c6, pawn here, knight went here, knight went here. He played, what did he play? He played g3, played bishop e7, he played bishop g2, he played castle, he played b6. The queen went to c2. I might have had the move order a little bit wrong there. Queen went to c2, bishop went here, and oh wait, sorry. That's what I did wrong here. Let me just go back. Let's do this proper. Might as well do this correct. Knight f3 was played. Knight f6 was played. g3 was played. There, bishop, castle, queen c2, b6, knight bd2, bishop b7, e4. That's it. That's correct. Then he played knight bd7, I think. Knight bd7 was played. e5 was played. Knight went to e8, and then pawn takes, and rook e8. And that's the current position. Yeah, there we go. All caught up. So yeah, so this is also an interesting game because it's between two GMs that are fairly a little bit older. I think they know each other quite well, probably as well from the scene. Both of them have been in the States for a very long time, so it'll be interesting to see what these guys do. Now again, I keep on mentioning this. When you look at the board here, you generally want to look at the pawn structure to tell you which side of the board to play. So here, if you look at the central pawns, they are pointing in this direction, which means that white will most likely want to play on the king side. Something like maybe knight f1, get the bishop out, move this knight out of the way so you can play f4. Now black's pawn structure is pointing this way, so he should probably want to play on the queen side, but I must admit that it doesn't look that great for him to play on that side of the board. So you might want to look at something like f6 at some point. Not right now, of course, but he might want to consider it. So it is interesting. So rook e1 gets played because I assume he wants to get his knight around. Maybe he can even play h4, a knight here, a knight here. So white's ideas are very simple. White wants to play on the king side, so finding ways for him to develop his pieces is not that hard. Interesting. But of course it is still early days. Okay, what happened here? This looks very, very ugly. Let's go and pop in on board 5. That is our next board. And I think we have moves at least on this one. Yes, we do. So bishop e4 was played, like I said. Castle was played. It looks like he castled himself. Castle. I played this variation myself as well. F3 gets played. Bishop h5 gets played. I'm not so sure about g4. I think I have played it before as well. But I think I found that I didn't like it that much. Can you not just play knight takes g4 here? Oh, no, of course you can't, because your bishop's still hanging after that, yeah. So knight d5, attacking the knight here, okay, and attacking here and here. So knight d5. Let's see what he played after that. Interesting. Okay, of course the bishop's still hanging, so knight g2, bishop g6, and now what gets played? Knight a2. Okay, knight a2, bishop e7, e4. So white does get this very strong pawn formation in the center. Or maybe even f4 after this. So he definitely gets some play. The knight goes to b6, bishop drops back to b3. You don't want to trade off that bishop or anything like that. And now c5, a5, nice little intermezzo there. Probably have to put your knight on c8, which is what he played, and now it is white to move. White will most likely be looking at something like bishop e3. Bishop e3, or maybe he wants to play d5 now. I'm not sure if he wants to play d5 now, though. I mean, black's pieces have been pushed back quite nicely. We will give him that. Of course, the two white knights don't look that great on these squares either. So it's not exactly like he is completely triumphant here. So it all decides on what he wants to play now. White has to make this decision. Does he defend with something like this and develop the piece, or does he play d5? Those are the two options he's looking at now. He's not looking at taking here at all. That just looks retarded. I suspect he'll probably play bishop e3. You want to keep on developing and staying ahead of the curve here. So that's what I predict. I predict he'll play bishop e3. I guess d5 as well is not that bad. Just trying to see. I mean, d5 is going to do the same problem is that this bishop's going to be able to come here anyway, and have a pretty decent diagonal here. So it seems more sensible to just play bishop e3 and then take with the bishop. But okay, I mean, we'll have to see what he decides to do in the end. This is the young Akshat Chandra, Grandmaster from the United States of America, USA. Okay, let's go and pop in on board 6. We had our London system. Let's see how this one has progressed. Just want to get the move order correct. So after bishop e7, he played h3. After bishop e7, knight bd2. Sorry about that. Played castles, played bishop d3, played c5, he played castles himself. Interesting. Now usually they'll play c3. He decides to castle and give these trades. So pawn takes, and c3 afterwards, d6 and c3. So I guess it doesn't really matter because he was planning on taking with the e pawn anyway. He wasn't planning on taking with the c pawn ever. So that's why he doesn't play c3. It doesn't matter. He can just castle straight away because it just turns out the same that he wanted to anyway. So here, let me just see where we are on the board. Rook e8 gets played and a4. Now a4 looks almost a little bit out of character for this, well, not anymore, of course. The reason why you would have taken with c takes d4 is because you wanted to play on the king side. Now, you know, you can definitely play on both sides of the board. So now he's definitely wanting to play a5 next and try and put some pressure on the pawn structure of black on that side of the board. I always find it a little bit tricky to decide how black should continue in these positions. You can't play e5. You don't want to play d5 because that makes your bishop weak on b7. So it's interesting and so we'll have to wait to see what Denis Boris has in store for the black side here. See what he ends up doing here, which will be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting to see. I predict we'll have a fun game on board 7. Sorry, that was board 6. My bad. Is it board 6? Yes. Speaking of board 7, this is the one. This was our Sveshnikov looking position here for black. Let's see what did happen here. Oh wow, it's still no more moves have been made. So black is still thinking after knight d5. It's been a good 20 minutes or so, maybe even more. But black has been thinking now. Black, like I say, I mean you can see, of course, he is the lower rated player here, and he's playing against the top seed Naroditsky. I would not want to be, well, I would want to be him because, of course, it's really cool to play against much stronger players like someone like Naroditsky. But obviously, you know, it's not exactly easy to do. So yeah, so I don't envy him from that point of view to have to play against Naroditsky right now, you know, in the current tournament situation. But obviously, I do envy him from the point of view that I want to play against strong players anyway. So black is probably looking at this knight takes e4 here, which looks very tempting. But I suspect that there is a lot of tricks in the position. I mean, we're looking at, you know, like let's say knight takes f4, knight takes e4, queen f3. Now, I guess we can just take on b4 as well. But your e4 pawn is hanging, like I say. It's interesting. It's an interesting position. I like the idea of maybe playing queen f3 even. Because if you have to play f5, then your king side starts looking a little awkward as well. But yeah, black is definitely, hi Sheppy. Black is definitely sitting. He's in the tank right now. He you know, I think he's a little bit worried. I don't think he likes his position that much. So let's go and have a look at board 8. Board 8 brings back Milner, who was playing on the boards in round 2 as well. So let's see if he can do better, because I think he lost in round 2. Yes, pretty sure he lost. Yeah. No, I know. I know that obviously taking on e4 looks very, very dodgy. But, it might be something that you want to consider. You're playing as a strong player. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so sometimes you have to take a bit more risk as well. Um, oh yeah, this was a game where I was very interested in seeing what White would end up doing. So White, see, I had a little bit of an issue with this pawn. This is what I was worried about for White. Yeah, I agree, Sheppy. I agree. But I mean, h4 happens so often nowadays. You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. That's exactly just as you say, Sheppy. H4 is cropping up in almost every opening everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I was trying to figure out how White was going to deal with this problem. So White ended up deciding to play Queen e2. I don't like it that much, but okay, Queen e2, Rook d8, attacking the knight, and the knight went to c2 now, I see. And now it is him to play. Hmm. So this does pose a problem for black though, doesn't it? Knight c2 is actually not a bad move. So maybe that solved some of his issues. Because now you can't move the bishop, can you? Because of knight d5. You have to, if you take on c3, then you have to concede a tempo. Which also doesn't look very nice. And if you play, okay, maybe you can play knight c6 maybe, and if you take on b4, take with the knight on b4. Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's a plausible answer to this one as well. But he is, I predict he's going to think for quite a little bit here. The international master. It's tough for these guys on board 7 and 8 because they're playing against very strong players. Of course, they're playing against seed 1 and 2. So it's a tough position for them to be in. But of course, when you're playing in a tournament like this and you are an IM or whatever, this is the kind of opponents that you want to play against. You should be looking and hoping to play against them. Because if you are going to get norms and or are going to improve, then naturally this is what you're going to have to do. So, okay, so this is also quite a slow-paced game. Let's pop in with our final board. My favorite IM so far for the tournament, okay, besides Gordivsky, is this Panjwani guy. So let's see how he ends up doing. I hope he has a good tournament. I hope he has a solid GM norm tournament here for him. This tournament is maybe slightly weak for a GM norm. It's not going to be that easy to get a GM norm because for you to have an average rating of, let's say an average rated opponent of 2,500 might not be that easy. Well, maybe it is fairly well, not as an average. That's the problem. So the lower the average gets, the higher the more points you need. Obviously, the higher the average rated opponent, the less points you need. So that's going to be the question mark that comes here: is can you get enough points versus the slightly lower rating average? So Queen e7 was played, Queen b3 was played, Rook d8 was played, and that's it. This is as far as we've come with this game. So White is Panjwani. So again, I think White's position looks perfectly okay. Black does have the bishop pair though. And seems like Black will still have to take a bit of time before he can possibly play c5. Might not be as easy to play c5 as he would have liked. So yeah, so this one is also going to take a very long time. I think White's not going to. He doesn't have to do anything fancy. He's just going to put his rooks on d1 and c1, and then maybe play a4, a5. That's one of his ideas. Not quite sure, you know what I mean? Like what exactly White's going to play himself as well. Maybe, like I said, a4, a5, knight b5 ideas. It just seems that he can prevent c5 for quite a bit of a while, because you don't want to play c5 now, because after pawn takes c5, you know, you can't take back with a pawn. I guess you can. Those hanging pawns, ooh, it's gonna be tough. Well, okay, that's why rook d1 now first, of course. So rook d1 looks like a logical move now. Rook f to d1. Because then you can't play c5. Because then if you take with a pawn, I can just take on d5. So, okay. Maybe you can play bishop takes c3 in between that line somewhere as well. It's possible. Don't know if I like it, but it is possible. I still think rook f to d1, rook c1, rook a to c1, and then we're going to have to see what happens. Okay, let's slide all the way down to board 1, to our unsung heroes so far. Perelstein, who is the player obviously with the only player still on full score. And he has the white pieces as well, so we'll have to see if he can take out Posny. Obviously not exactly an easy opponent to try and beat. So let's see what happened here after bishop g2. So bishop d2 was played. I did say e5 was going to happen. I realized that all of this would have happened. Castles and a5. So it seems it's obvious that he wants to play a4. And then obviously he wants to put his knight here, and play f5. Seems like the basic idea here. Doesn't seem too complicated. So far we haven't had any wacky games yet. I mean, nothing too interesting has happened. You know, this is just the way it is. But Black's pawn structure is clearly pointing this way, so he definitely wants to play on the king side of the board. Definitely wants to move his knight out of the way and play f5. That's going to be a commonplace idea here. Let's go and pop in on the Samuel Sevian game. So we had our Ruy Lopez type of game here. I'm assuming he played bishop a4. Oh, okay. Well, we haven't gone very far. Bishop a4 and b5 was played. I mean, this is still early days. You know, okay, anybody who plays a Ruy Lopez type of setup knows what's going to happen here. And d4 is going to get played eventually. I mean, Black can even play c5 against that. Okay, I mean, there's pressure on e5 right now. So I suspect probably that he plays, let's say, bishop c2 to protect his pawn already. Because bishop e7 is obviously the next move. And now if you're going to play e5, then there is pressure all over the show. So we'll have to see. They have been taking their time. Samuel Sevian is black here, and he took quite a long time for the move b5, it seems. Or maybe he thought a little bit earlier, maybe. But, yeah, no, I think that he was taking a bit of time with b5, maybe. I'm not sure. Because he's lost 15 minutes somewhere, I'm not quite sure why. I mean, this is all just opening, I mean, not much to think about there, is there? So let's go check up on Gorovets. Gorovets versus Mark Paragua. So yeah, this was a game where he had this easy access to the e4 push if he wanted it. It seems like he played this quite differently though. Sorry, I assumed he would have taken on h5, but on g6 I mean, but apparently did not, which is interesting. He apparently played interesting play by Gordivsky here. Sorry, this is Gordivsky, not Gorovets. But I do have the right board, yes? Yeah. Yes. He apparently played Queen b6. Interesting. He played Queen here. He played c5. He played Queen c7. He played Bishop here. Played Queen c8. I mean, this looks very odd from Black, though, to allow all these developing moves. Now he played g4, Bishop e7, and Bishop g3. Okay, so that's all fairly, I guess, all right. But it just seems like Black. I mean, e4 is looming. It's definitely in the air. At the right time. Ooh, sorry. Maybe Black's not so bad, I guess. Just my instincts tells me that this doesn't look so great, you know? I mean, White might have to fianchetto his knight at some point as well. But I just don't like the weakness that he's created on the queen side here. Sorry. Seems like it's going to be a very, very long game for Black here. You know, he does have the strong bishop on g6. But White does have the counterpart on g3 as well. White's queen is slightly better. He's got more space. Not sure if I'm a fan. And of course, I can get rid of your nice bishop on g6, where you cannot get rid of mine. Maybe you can with like bishop d8 and bishop c7 or something crazy. Like this real slow approach, you know, like let's sneak around. So maybe it's possible. Let's go to the two oldie olds and see how they are doing. So Mr. Friedel and Mr. Darwin Yang. Let's see how they are doing. Actually, you know what? I assume that Darwin Yang is an old guy. I could be wrong. Is he a young player? Anybody? Sheppy, you said you live in Chicago, right? So you're from the States? Who's Darwin Yang? Is he young? I thought he was old. I had this feeling like he was old. But maybe he's not. Maybe he's one of the young Asian American GMs. So here I liked White's position because I felt like White could easily just, you know, continue on playing here. Wow, what did he do? Yeah, so obviously he did play knight f1 like I thought. Rook went here, queen went back to d1. And then he played knight b8. Say what now? Okay, so we went back to knight b8. You think he just wants to have the knight on c6? Okay, so he's not old then. Okay, my bad. Sorry, Darwin Yang. I thought you were some old guy. Joshua Friedel is quite old though, isn't he? Like, well, not old, but I mean like early 40s maybe, or late 30s. Yeah. I mean, he's been around for quite a while, hasn't he? So I'm pretty sure he's not young. Yeah, I suddenly realized that Darwin Yang might actually not be old. So here I thought that White would just continue on with something like this. Maybe White wants to play Black maybe might want to play f6. So he needed to move his knight out of the way so he could put his queen on d7, so that he can play f6 possibly. I'm not so sure if that's the right side of the board to play though. Other ideas, obviously, the knight goes back so he can get here, here, and here, maybe even with the knight. I mean, this does take time though. Only problem with earphones is that they do get itchy. It's like a cap. I think when you're used to it, maybe it doesn't get that bad, you know. But yeah, I'm still not really that used to these earphones. And of course, you know, sitting here for 6 hours wearing a big ass headset like this. You said you're 21, Sheppy. You're quite young. What is your FIDE rating? Might as well move on to another board in the meantime, because White is now obviously trying to figure out what he's going to do next. Let's go to the young Chandra Akshat game. Uh-oh, what have I done? I broke it. That's fine. You don't have a FIDE rating? So we had this weird position where knight c8 was just played. So he did decide to play d5. I wasn't sure. Fair enough, Sheppy. I mean, I realize we have the same issue as well. You know what I mean? But I think, no offense, but I think the USCF ratings are a little bit inflated as well. You know, obviously, if you go and look at the players versus their FIDE rated players as well, ratings as well, then you'll see that most of the time their ratings are higher. Whereas my country, the South African rating system is actually quite a bit lower. So like a 2000 here is probably like a 2200 FIDE. You know what I mean? But I have the same problem with FIDE tournaments as well. You know, I never get to play FIDE rated tournaments. I never do. I want to say more, huh? There's a lot of players who are 2700 in USCF who are, you know, 26 or even 25 D2500s. So I'd say it's probably closer to 100. But okay, we have to look at averages, and when you look at averages, maybe it's not that good, yeah. Yes. Yes. Exactly. That's exactly it, yeah. So I would have said about 100 for the certain height, yes. Perfect. Believe me, you know, we are lucky in South Africa. We're lucky if we get like 2 or 3 FIDE rated tournaments in a year. So yeah, there's just way too little to play. You know what I mean? Do you have a title, Sheppy? Maybe a national master title, or Seems to me like in the States you can get them for free basically. You know, you just have to say hi. I can play E4. Give me one. Sorry, no offense, but I mean, let's be honest here. The national master title is just like given out everywhere. If I may ask, what's your nickname on chess.com, Sheppy? Yeah, so basically, if you get 2200, you automatically get the title, don't you? That's nice. And you can play on Title Tuesday. You lucky bugger. Yeah, I want to go stay in the States just for like a month or two and get the National Master title. I wonder if I can do that. Okay, so I did play d5. I wasn't so convinced. No, it's not. It's not the same every. We don't have National Master titles. No, 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 none of that. We don't have that nonsense. So it doesn't exist for us. So don't say it's the same everywhere. Because in our country, you can't get the National Master title. It's not actually recognized by FIDE. It's not a title. It's just a random nonsense thing. So like it seems like a lot of the any country that has that has the state's influence, the United States influence has this national master title thing. Because I promise you, it's not available in my country. You go and look at our players list. You go and see the titles. You'll see that maybe there's one or two, but you'll find that those one or two were in the States for a while. So no, it's not the same everywhere. No, it's not. Otherwise, I would have had the national master title a millennium ago. Okay, let's go pop in on the next board. Board 6. We had this this London system here with the queenside play. So I was intrigued to see how black was going to deal with this. And apparently there's only one more move made. No, wait. This was played and this was played. So he really wants to play a5. Like, he's adamant about it. He wants to play a5. Oh, sorry. There has been more moves played. Oh, I'm actually one move ahead. Sorry, I got the move order wrong. Bishop f8 was played. Knight was played. And knight c6 was played. There we go. That's better. So, I mean, black obviously wants to play e5. That's a given. It seems like, okay, that's another reason why a4 was played, so that you cannot play b5, because white seems to be wanting to stop e5 as well. So maybe he's going to play rook e1 next, can maybe even play queen e2, and really stop e5 from happening. Of course, there is a little bit of pressure on d6 as well. But okay, I mean, Sheppy, in all honesty, any title that is not IM or GM, I don't really, count at all anyway. Because, I mean, there's 1400s, maybe even lower, that has got CM and FM titles. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's a joke. It's sadly, it's a joke. Third world countries has got a big deal to do with that, because obviously they want to encourage the third world countries. So now you have some weak putzes with CM and FM titles, like a 1300 the FM title, whereas the other way to get the FM title, you have to be at 2300. You know what I mean? Like, it's disgusting. So the titles just they have no more meaning. The CM and FM titles and national master titles. So I don't really take note of them much. Only IM and GM, but even the IM title is starting to get also a little bit funky, because there's a lot of places where you can get the IM title and be quite weak, even in Africa as well, of course. When you go and look at some of the African IMs, you'll see you have like 2100s who are international masters. So it's a bit disgusting, but I guess it is what it is. I do not want the title that way. I don't want it that way. I want to get it by getting a 2400 rating and 3 IM norms. That's how I want to get my title. But okay, that's me. So let's go pop in on our Najdorf game where things were a little bit weird, remember? Where the b4 pawn was an issue. Let's go check that one out. Because it looks like he has not taken the pawn. So the pawn hasn't been taken. Black played, let me just see if I can find the right moves here. Black played knight bd7. Okay. White seems to have played bishop c4 and bishop b7 has been played. And I think that's where the position is currently. Oh, bishop g5 was just played now. And bishop g5. Interesting. So why do you think white has not taken... Oh, I guess the e4 pawn does still become weak as well. So now if you take on b4, I can play bishop takes e4. Most likely. Can we play f3 for white? I mean, black doesn't look like he can play bishop e7. Maybe he can. But I mean, obviously, if we just look at the position, I'm not a fan of white's position at all here. Black's position, sorry, not white. Love black, white's position here. Although I guess there is some things to consider here. Let me push forward my seat a little bit and sit back and enjoy the show. I'm enjoying my own show. So yeah, you know, I'm looking at moves like bishop takes d5, because then you'll have to either take with the pawn or with the bishop. Then rook b8. I mean, maybe the b4 pawn is alive and well. So takes a bishop e7. So I'm looking at like something like this. Okay, rook b8. And then bishop e7 is going to get played and we're going to castle. But okay, I guess boom boom, huh? I guess this h pawn wants to have a say in matters here. And you're still quite pinned down, aren't you? Maybe we go queen d3 in this position, just attacking the pawn. As redundant and as stupid as that looks, but maybe you can get out now. Maybe you can play here, queen b6, but then maybe bishop e3. c5 looks possible. Knight c5 looks possible, but I don't like it necessarily. So I'm not sure. I mean, this okay. He played bishop e7, but it's also a slippery slope, that one. He has to be very careful. So he played bishop e7. I guess he doesn't care about knight takes here. I mean, of course, the knight doesn't want to take on e7, but just looking at all the weaknesses on the side of the board, you know, with this d6 pawn looking very, very bad. But maybe we can wait a little bit. Maybe we play queen d3 first, play rook d1, eyeing that d6 pawn. I mean, obviously the position for black does not look very, very healthy. He's made quite a bit of mistakes in this game, just from a positional point of view, I think. And he's definitely trying to suffer his way through. So let's move on to board 8 again. Let's go see how our second seed is doing. Ilya Niznik. Let's see what update we have on this board. Oh yeah, okay, so wait, so what happened here? How did this all transpire? Okay, so he did play knight c6 as I thought, yes. Did play knight c6. Knight takes b4. And he played queen takes b4. Interesting. Knight takes and queen takes. Now I was wondering. Okay, I guess knight b5. Sorry, knight d5 runs into queen takes b2. So he played b3, and now knight d4 happened. Suddenly I don't really mind black's position that much. I think black is doing okay here. Yeah, for a second there I thought white might have walked away with a little bit of an advantage here, but now it's starting to feel like black is looking pretty good. I mean, he's gonna have to play queen here, no? This is starting to look very weird. Interesting position. Okay, I mean, he has to play queen d1, doesn't he? Queen d2 doesn't cut it because of knight takes b3. So queen d1 has to be played. Now, is there any way for us to punish him here? Doesn't look like it, does it? I mean, the only move that pops into my head right away here to try and keep things going is to play b5. but that doesn't work, does it? Because of knight takes b5. So it just looks like white is just going to castle on the next move after queen d1, and then he should be okay. Maybe black plays e5. And then just brings his bishop up. But okay, I mean, your queen is looking awkward on that square right now. So maybe actually after queen d1, maybe queen here, possibly. Because now if you castle, there's issues. I take on b3. So we're just focusing on the weaknesses that you have. So maybe that is the idea. Maybe queen d6 gets played after queen d1. Black seems to be doing well here. And I mean, black is a much lower rated player as well again here. Which is a great position for Mulier to be in, because again, you know, he's an international master. You're looking for GM norms, you know, you're trying to get your rating to climb. So you want to play against these 2600 GMs. And if you can have good games against them, you don't necessarily have to win, but if you can be playing well against them and giving yourself chances, then yeah. Then you're in the right place in your life. So I like queen d6. I have this feeling that queen d6 is not bad at all. So now he's going to have to untangle. Maybe he can just play bishop e3. Do we have time to go back queen b4? Maybe get a draw? It might be possible. I mean, this could even be strong, you know, if you take here, I take, you take, I take here. Now this doesn't work because of that. Rook c1 runs into this, maybe? Maybe even we would change the move order. Maybe we play here takes first. And if rook takes, then here. Maybe not. Maybe you have like ideas like this. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't do anything. You move a king to h8 and then what? I mean, it just looks very dangerous here. So I am inclined to think that black is looking pretty decently here. So after queen d6, what does white play? I mean, black can definitely get the draw in that position with queen going to b4, d6 the whole time. If bishop e3 gets played. Interesting. I after queen d6, I definitely think I like black a little bit better here. Okay, maybe no. Maybe rook a2, because he has to defend the bishop on d2 so that he can castle. Do we maybe have time for b5 now? Just trying to mix it up here. Because while the king is in the center of the board, I'm like a bull with a red flag. I just want to attack the center as quickly as possible here. So let's say b5 maybe. Then let's say pawn takes and bishop b7. Now e4 is under fire. And this all has to do with the fact that you want to attack d2. These two pawns are not looking very good on the open file anyway, so you don't have to worry about them. So if f3 gets played, maybe this is a bit too slow, huh? We're just one move behind here. So maybe rook a2 can happen there. So rook a2 maybe. Sorry, not bishop there. Rook a2. Maybe, huh? Maybe e5. With knight g4 getting played. So if you castle now, then I guess knight g4 doesn't do anything. Bishop e6 maybe. This is interesting. I think black definitely has, he can play for something here, which is, like I say, it's a great position to be in against a player like Nyznik, But I must admit, if you look at Nyznik's games, he hasn't been playing that great. So this might be the kind of tournament that you want to take him down in, So let's pop in on our last board. Board number 9. So yeah, so we had this where I thought rook f to d1 would get played. Okay, so he played it a little bit differently, which is interesting, which means he still wants to play e4, so I understand that. So he played rook a to d1, okay, because he wants to stop c5 from happening, which that does. And I thought he might play it the other way around, but he decided not to play on the c file at all, it seems. The c6 gets played and rook e1, because he still wants to play this, it seems. Bishop maybe goes to f1, and then he can play e4 maybe. Black just played knight d7. And now it is up to white to decide what he's going to do. Looks like white, no, black was the one thinking for a very long time. It took a good 30 minutes somewhere, which I understand because it looks very hard to decide how black is going to play this. Because if you can't play c5, you are most likely in trouble. I still like this a4, a5 idea for white. Maybe that's what he's thinking about now, because now the bishop on b7 is not protected. You can't play a5 or a6 because then your b pawn looks extremely weak. Sorry. I am quite tired. We'll just quickly see something. What does this button do? Show threat. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Yes, chess54. I know. I hope so too, buddy. I really hope so too. You know? Maybe we can spoon afterwards. You know? Maybe you can teach me some chess after that even, you know? As long as I'm getting chess out of the deal here, then maybe it'll be worth it. So yeah, so this is going to be a very long game as well, because I predict that black will keep on being in the tank as well. So black taking a lot of time there. Let's quickly... Yeah, you'd like that. Once again, buddy, you'd love that. Let's quickly see what the update is on the board one. So a5 happened. Then he played b3 to stop a4, okay, because I said he wanted to play a4. Then bishop d7 was played. And rook d1 was played. Okay, so very interesting game, to be honest. I'm interested in this one because I would think that black wants to play f5. Maybe he can still do this in a very... Well, I mean, he could do it very quickly. He could play bam and play f5. That's even forced. So I'm interested in understanding why white is allowing it to happen. Ugh, it's cold. Maybe we should play h6 first. I mean, I do like the idea of keeping any piece out of g5. So h6, and then I can even play knight to h7 and f5 as well if I have to. But I like knight e4. It kind of looks cool. With f5 afterwards. But there might be ideas of knight take. No, that just loses material, doesn't it? So I'm a little confused. I understand what white wants to do, maybe. I mean, you probably can't play chess54. How old are you, chess54? Speaking of forced, yes, I'm listening. I got my earphones on. I'm listening, baby. Down what? Down what? But you can't go down. Come on, think about this. Think about it. Just think about it for a little bit here. You have to go up, not down, but up. No, you're not 28. There's no chance that you're 28. You're very young. You're like 11, 12, maybe 13, 14, maybe. You're a teenager, definitely, with some serious problems. But it's okay. It'll get better, I promise. It will get better, okay?